Drishtikona changing perspective started as a reaction to the Me Too movement and the kind of misinformation that was floating around. At that point of time, I realized that there are a lot of people who don't understand gender issues at all, and they may be highly educated or working in amazing jobs, wonderful jobs, high profile jobs, even as lawmakers and policy influencers. During the lockdown, the majority of my work was focused on providing counseling services, free mental health services to especially the victims of domestic abuse and domestic violence, because the minute lockdown was announced, the first thing that went off in my head was that home is not the safe space for everybody. In fact, for many women who are in abusive marriages, it is sheer hell. So I started this service in association with the Uttar Pradesh Police, who've been very helpful, by the way. And they had a number of counselors working with them. We set up a hotline, and I was receiving calls even in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. in the night saying, I'm just about to kill myself, help me. So I would contact the police and they would send somebody over to have a look. And that was a very jarring experience to go through, because lockdown was something which was affecting all of our mental health, and that included me, obviously. Plus, I was working as a crisis controller. I was working in this situation of dealing with COVID crisis, the mental health crisis that had arisen due to COVID, and that was something that seriously posed a challenge to our country's overall well-being, along with COVID affecting all of our mental health and physical health. It was something that posed a challenge to our holistic health, and I believe that a closer look is needed to really see in how many ways COVID has truly affected us, because physical health is one thing, but people are still reeling with the stress and anxiety or depression caused due to COVID. The hope is always that people will find it within themselves to have more empathy and practice active listening skills when discussing gender and all gender-related issues, because gender is something that affects all of us. It is relevant to each and every one of us. So when we talk about feminism, when we talk about equality, we are talking about everybody. It's a very inclusive movement, and that's something that people tend to ignore or just not understand. And I believe that when people see certain aspects of it shown in media which do not collaborate with what they think about it or what they think it should be, there is that feeling of immediately rejecting the whole idea, the whole movement. And I believe that's very wrong, because just because you saw one movie or one TV show which was trashy according to you and was being promoted in the garb of feminism or the feminist movement, you cannot blame all of the people working towards gender equality just because that one TV show or one movie was not what you think gender equality or feminism should be all about. And yes, there are trashy shows, there are movies that are marketed under the name of feminism but don't really live up to it or don't actually have anything to do with it. But that is a separate discussion. The most important thing that I would like to request each and every one would be to just stay with us. When people talk about gender equality or feminism, do not label them in your head immediately. Do not pass those judgments in a split second. Just know that there is a lot of work that needs to be done by each and every one of us. We all have to come together collectively to make sure that gender equality is the norm. It's not something which is an aberration in our society.